A norm is an expectation of how people will behave in a society. Norms encourage positive behavior or discourage negative behavior. Norms also shape interests, but norms are distinct from ideas, attitudes, and values, which can be held privately and which do not necessarily concern behavior. Norms exert a form of social pressure that encourages individuals to act and interact in certain ways. Norms determine what is considered moral and ethical behavior. They structure the difference between right and wrong. A law is also a norm that is formally inscribed at the state or federal level and is enforced by police or other government agents. Thus, norms are important because of their contribution to create social order. A situation in which the social norms that regulate individual conduct have broken down or are no longer effective as rules for behavior is called anomie. It is a breakdown of social bonds between an individual and their community, in which individuals do not feel bound by the moral restrictions of society. This aspect refers to the inability to identify with the perceived dominant values of society. Anomie occurs during and follows periods of drastic and rapid changes to the social, economic, or political structures of society. Anomie arises when an individual's actions are mismatched or not integrated with the system of social norms and practices. It is the result of weakening of traditional institutions, in particular the reduced authority of such institutions in the economic sphere, as well as changes in the principles underlying social inequality. More generally, when there is a significant discrepancy between the ideological theories and values commonly professed and what was actually achievable in everyday life. Such conditions led individuals to pursue egoistic ends rather than seeking the good of a larger community. Sometimes rapid change of the standards or values of societies often erroneously seen as normlessness. Complex modern societies directly cause anomie by depriving the individual of self-determination and a relatively small reference group to relate to, such as the band, clan, or tribe. It may also arise from the lack of social ethic, which produces moral deregulation and an absence of legitimate aspirations. Similarly, a society with too much rigidity and little individual discretion could also produce a kind of anomie. Because anomie is the discrepancy between common social goals and the legitimate means to attain those goals, it means an individual suffering from anomie would strive to attain the common goals of a specific society, yet would not be able to reach those goals legitimately because of the structural limitations in society. As a result, the individual would exhibit deviant behavior. Such normlessness causes both personal anxiety and a disruption in the rhythm of social life. At a personal level, it creates alienation, isolation, emotional emptiness, and despair. In such situations, striving is considered useless because there is no accepted definition of what is desirable. As norms become less binding for individuals, individuals lose the sense of what is right and wrong. Individuals may feel that community leaders are indifferent to their needs, that society is basically unpredictable and lacking order, and that goals are not being realized. They may also have a sense of futility and a conviction that associates are not dependable source of support. When society does not provide the necessary legitimate and legal means that allow people to achieve culturally valued goals, people seek out alternative means that may simply break from the norm or may violate norms and laws. Periods of anomie are unstable, chaotic, and often rife with conflict because the social force of the norms and values that otherwise provide stability is weakened or missing.